Every year, there's a new .NET version, including performance improvements, security fixes, and providing new features. What's exciting for developers building cutting-edge applications can be frustrating for developers maintaining existing legacy .NET applications. The .NET Upgrade Assistant is a tool created by Microsoft that helps with migrating existing applications from an older .NET version, including the .NET Framework, to the latest .NET version. When I talk to developers maintaining older .NET applications and ask them why they don't use the latest .NET version, they usually respond with that they have a hard time upgrading to the latest .NET version or they cannot upgrade at all. And most of them don't even know the .NET Upgrade Assistant exists. I recently ran this poll on Twitter and 60% of the voters stated that they don't know about the .NET Upgrade Assistant. I want to change that and explain what the .NET Upgrade Assistant is, where to get it, how to use it, and how it will help to migrate your existing .NET applications. Before we learn where to get the .NET Upgrade Assistant and how to use it, let's quickly take a look at what type of .NET applications it helps migrate. It currently supports the following type of applications: ASP.NET MVC, Windows Forms, Windows Presentation Foundation WPF, console apps, UWP apps to Windows App SDK, which is WinUI, Xamarin Forms to .NET MAUI, Azure Functions, and class libraries. The .NET Upgrade Assistant can not only migrate C#, but also Visual Basic .NET projects. The .NET Upgrade Assistant can be used in two different ways. We learn about them on their GitHub page. First, we can use and install a CLI tool, which is an extension to the .NET CLI that will help you with the migration. Or we can install a Visual Studio extension that we can use directly from within Visual Studio. For both options, we need MS Build to be installed on the computer that you want to run the .NET Upgrade Assistant. If you already have Visual Studio installed, you're pretty sure also have MS Build installed. However, if that's not the case, head to their website and download and install it first. The GitHub page is also a great start to learn about how to migrate your existing .NET applications. For example, there's a guide on how to migrate your existing WinForms application to .NET 6 or later. When running the analyze command, the .NET Upgrade Assistant can be used to analyze the project dependencies before the migration. The generated analysis report contains information about project dependencies that need to be removed, added, or updated. It sometimes also points out breaking changes and unsupported APIs, as well as how to replace them. For example, I ran the analysis command on a WPF application running on the .NET Framework 4.6. You can open the generated .serif report file using Visual Studio Code using the Serif Viewer extension. As we can see, the report contains a set of items for each project in the solution. We get a list of tasks that we need to complete before starting the migration. In this case, we need to update a few dependencies to .NET Framework 4.8. We also get suggestions to delete and add new project dependencies. For this application, we get a list of 39 items that we need to complete before starting with the migration. The upgrade command starts the migration of the .NET application. It will discover what projects need to be updated and it will recommend an order in which the projects should be migrated. If necessary, it will update the project files to the SDK-styled file format and retarget the projects to the desired .NET version. It will also upgrade existing NuGet package dependencies to be compatible with the desired .NET version. Sometimes it will make subtle changes to the source code for .NET Framework applications to make them work on more recent .NET versions. It will also add a code analyzer to help with the migration if you haven't already added it in preparation. After running the tool, the solution will most likely not build until the upgrade is completed with manual steps. I couldn't run the migrate command because the preparations for the migration were too much. However, the result of each migration will always be different depending on the type of application and the source code. I have another solution containing an ASP.NET Core Web API project and an Azure Function app. I will use the CLI and execute the migrate command of the .NET Upgrade Assistant on this solution. When starting the .NET Upgrade Assistant, it asks for an entry point. I have two different applications in the same solution and I need to select the application that I want to upgrade. In the end, I want both applications to be migrated, and therefore I have to run the .NET Upgrade Assistant twice, once for each application. There is a number of steps that are performed. Depending on the application type and the source code, more or less manual input can be required. When the migration is completed, there will be another .serif file containing a report including further instructions. If all goes well and any manual steps have been performed, the application should finally run on the specified .NET version. Be aware that at the time of this recording, the Visual Studio extension contains a few features unavailable in the CLI version. However, the .NET team has already announced that they will bring these missing features into a newer version of the CLI tool. I'd suggest trying both options to see what works best in your scenario. How much the .NET Upgrade Assistant can help migrating your application certainly depends on the application type. Depending on the application type, you might need to perform more or less manual steps, such as adding, removing or updating package dependencies before or after the migration. However, the report of the Upgrade Assistant will guide you through the process. In the end, the .NET Upgrade Assistant is just a tool. However, used the right way, it can save you hours or even days when migrating your existing .NET application from an older .NET Framework or .NET version to the latest .NET release. If you enjoyed learning about the .NET Upgrade Assistant, I'd appreciate a like for the video, and if you want to learn more about .NET development, consider subscribing. See you in the next video.